Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is the City of Griffin Board of Commissioners regular scheduled meeting, June 8th, 2021. We'll open by Commissioner Brock leading the pledge, followed by Commissioner Tinsley leading the invocation. If you'll please rise.
Please join me in the pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Most gracious Heavenly Father, we're here today to ask for your blessings and guidance in the performance of our duties as elected officials. We pray for strength, love, knowledge, and understanding. Help us to recognize and solve the problems that are presented. Make our solutions fair and just to the best interests of everyone. Help us to overcome our shortcomings. Keep us united as a team. Work for the betterment of the city and its people. We pray in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. We have the approval of the agenda. Do we have a motion to approve it as presented? Mr. Tinsley with a motion, Mrs. Ward with a second. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 7-0. Moving into presentations and delegations. First is recognize Brian Banks, Fire Captain, Griffin Fire and Rescue, as the May 2021 Strongest Link Award recipient. Chief John Hamilton will address.
I actually have a video.
We have a video, perfect.
We're here with the city manager. We're fixing to surprise Brian Banks. He does not know we're here, and we're going to go in and surprise him for the strongest link. The reason I'm not We're here with the city manager. We're fixing to surprise Brian Banks. He does not know we're here, and we're going to go in and surprise him for the strongest link. The reason I nominated him was he is just an all-around great guy, but it's not about what he did when he was working. It's what he did when he was off duty. He was out at the airport working a side job with a friend of ours, and someone came and told him that there was a gentleman outside laying down on the ground face down. So he went outside, found the person was in cardiac arrest, started CPR, called for help. Once help arrived, he was able to back off, but his actions did not hesitate one bit, were likely the reason that gentleman walked out of the hospital days later. It's just a great guy he is. He's been with us for 16 years. He is just an awesome person. He has his moments, just like all of us do, where we wonder why we're doing this job, but all in all, he is just a all-around great guy.
Well, I mean, basically, I didn't do anything that anybody else would have done. I mean, you know, it didn't really have anything to do with training. It didn't have anything to do with what I do on my off day. I mean, what I do for living as a career. But you just see somebody in a bad situation, and you're gonna do whatever you can to help. So, but I mean, I appreciate it. I mean, I appreciate the recognition or whatever. But it wasn't just me; it was a whole team of people. We had Reserve 3 was there with Saparita, and I think Gallman and Price. They was there. Spalding Regional EMS was there. I sent somebody up, and I did what I think was the best decision I made was send one of my other co-workers over to the hangar next door, which is Air Life, and got their paramedics to come over there. If it wasn't for them, then the situation wouldn't have turned out the same. So, but anyway, I appreciate it. I appreciate the recognition. You might have to delete all that. The recognition. So. But either way, you know, I mean, it's hard for me to accept some kind of, you know, even here, if I do something here, it's just part of our job, you know. So, you know, being recognized for it is kind of a thing that, in my opinion, firefighters don't really ask for. You know, I mean, we don't really ask for it. We just kind of rely on our training and do our job, and you know. We don't expect things from the community. We don't really expect things from the city itself. I mean, if that makes any sense. I mean, we're here to do what we're supposed to do. And anybody that goes out and asks for that recognition, you know, is somebody that's got an agenda that's probably not in the best interest of the city. They're asking for recognition on their own instead of a team and relying on each other. So anyway, thanks.
So now you take this.
You gotta wear it tomorrow. You gotta wear it tomorrow.
I'm taking it, yeah, I'm taking it with me next week to Florida.
Get rid of all the bugs.
This is gonna be, it's gonna be outside.
His face, mouth, and move, and somebody else's voice.
I actually like that would be kind of cool. With like,
So,
Daniel Jones.
A wonderful testimony of the employees that we have working with the city of Griffin. Chief Hamilton, your team was amazing. Please pass on our congratulations from the Board of Commissioners and appreciate y'all's commitment and dedication to the citizens. Next item under 3 is presentation of a proclamation recognizing National Waste and Recycling Workers Week. Solid Waste Director Todd Ennis will address, and Commissioner Cynthia Reed Ward will present a proclamation. So Mr. Ennis, bring you and your team on up here.
Proclamation, National Waste and Recycling Workers Week. Whereas the city of Griffin is inspired to recognize the often thankless job of waste collectors and sanitation and recycling workers. And we recognize the annual observance of National Professional Waste and Recycling Workers Week, the week of June 14th to 18th, 2021. And whereas the earliest garbage regulation efforts was the first landfill in Knossos Crete, where large holes for refuge were dug and garbage was dumped along with dirt at various levels in 3000 BC. And whereas since that time, sanitation workers have worked selflessly and tirelessly in all types of environments and at risk to themselves to provide sanitation services to protect communities and residents, prevent disease, and keep our communities clean, safe, and beautiful. And whereas the men and women employed by the city of Griffin make significant contributions to the safety, health, and welfare of our citizens by processing millions of tons of garbage and recycling annually. And whereas with an area spanning 14.03 square miles, 181.8 miles of roads, and a population of approximately 22,725, the citizens of the city of Griffin depend on the collection and proper disposal of waste, recyclables, and yard waste to promote a clean and tidy community, regardless of weather and global pandemics. And whereas the city of Griffin values and celebrate our local solid waste employees for their commitment to our residents, businesses, and communities as essential employees. Now therefore be it resolved that the City of Griffin Board of Commissioners, in conjunction with National Waste and Recycling Workers Week, does hereby proclaim the week of June 14th through 18th in the year 2021 to be National Waste and Recycling Workers Week, and encourage all citizens to join the Board of Commissioners in thanking the hard-working men and women who ensure our communities be kept safe, clean, and healthy. I have thereunto caused the seal of the City of Griffin to be affixed on this, the 8th day of June, in the year of our Lord, 2021. Signed, Douglas S. Holberg, Mayor, and Jessica W. O'Connor, City Manager.
Mr. Ennis, would you like to make any comments on behalf of your team?
Yes, on behalf of the Solid Waste Department, I'd like to thank the City of Griffin for recognizing these men and women and just a portion of them for the work they do day in and day out. They come in, rain and shine, and do go above and beyond to make sure the City of Griffin is clean. And just really appreciate you recognizing them and for all the hard work they do day in and day out. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ennis. Thank you.
Hold on right quick.
Come take a picture.
Our local photographer.
I know. All ready? Dee, you're gonna have to get away back from behind Richard. There you go. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you all. Next item is a presentation of a proclamation marking Juneteenth and the celebration of the emancipation of enslaved people. Dr. Yoshonda Jones will be here to accept.
Good evening. Y'all come on up. Good evening. How are you doing?
A proclamation celebrating Juneteenth 2021, whereas on June 19, 1865, 2.5 years after President Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation, Union soldiers led by Major General Gordon Granger landed in Galveston, Texas with the news that the Civil War had ended and the enslaved people were now free. And whereas Major General Granger announced to the residents of Texas, the people of Texas are informed that in accordance with the proclamation from the Executive of the United States, all slaves are free. This involved an absolute equality of personal rights and rights of property. Whereas the first Juneteenth celebration was held in Texas in 1866. Since then, Juneteenth has been celebrated in communities across the United States, providing an opportunity to mark the emancipation of enslaved people. And whereas on this day, in hundreds of communities across the country, people of all races, nationalities, and religions joined hands to acknowledge the extremely painful history and lasting systematic impact of slavery and racial injustice in the United States. Juneteenth is an opportunity to recommit ourselves to the goal of creating a more equal and just society, an effort that continues today. Now, therefore, we, the City of Griffin Commissioners, do hereby proclaim June 19, 2021 to be Juneteenth Independence Day and urge all citizens of the City of Griffin to take recognition of this event and participate in its observance. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Griffin to be affixed this 8th day of June in the year of our Lord 2021. Douglas S. Holberg, Mayor, and Jessica W. O'Connor, City Manager.
I just wanted to say a few words and I'll be brief. I really want to thank the city commissioners for being on the right side of history. This is very monumental for the citizens of Griffin and the community. The truth of history, it can be ugly. It can also be uncomfortable, but it takes things like this to recognize what has happened and to help find solutions for issues and problems that we face today. I also want to recognize our citizens and diversity council members that are here with me, Kim Williams and Kay Dozier. This is a part of the discussion for what you allowed us to put the council together for. We hope to do more things like this in the future. I also want to recognize Sharon King that's here with Citizens for Change. And she has also been really helpful with us putting a lot of different initiatives together as well. I also want to say that, and I might get in trouble for this, but you all know me, so it's to be expected. Pretty much. I also want to say that I'm glad that we do have members here from our other local governments that are able to witness this masterclass in morality and humanity, and maybe that they can take notes on how they should move forward to be more progressive and forward-thinking in the future. And once again, I'd like to thank all of the city commissioners. This means a lot to us. It really does. Thank you.
If
I may,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I think I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the names of Kenny Smith and Jessica Watley O'Connor for putting together the Diversity and Inclusion Committee. And this is what has come of it. These discussions are not just limited to an idea that's born out of one person's head, but it's a group discussion. And we all, everybody up here, have an opportunity to put members on that board. And these are some of the things that they are working on and coming up with to try to do things that are going to include everyone, bring us together. So it's nice that they're doing it, but we have to pay homage to those who started it, Mr. Smith and Ms. O'Connor, for putting this together. So thank you guys as well.
Thank you, Mr. McCourt. Next, we're going to review financials for the April 2021. Chief Financial Officer Marcus Schwab will address. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Commissioners.
Another boring night of reports.
Yes, sir, and that's fine. We're at just under 97% for collections within the general fund with that specific line item for property taxes. I did receive notice today. We collected another 20,000 towards that, and that'll put us just shy under 98% for the $4 million that we're slated to collect.
Are there any questions on the financials, Mr. Schwab?
That goes until July 1, right? Or
June 30.
June 30.
June 30. These financials are for April, so we still have May and June to go through, yes.
Thank you.
Good job, Marcus.
Thank you.
Excellent job with you and your team.
Thank you. I'll pass that on.
Moving into citizens' comments. At this time, the mayor opens the floor to comments from the audience. Comments should relate to a specific agenda item not listed on the agenda for a public hearing or a concern within the jurisdiction of the city. Commission meetings serve the purpose of conducting city business and are not a forum for the unlimited expression of opinion. The mayor reserves the right to limit comments to matters germane to city business and may refer speakers to the city manager or other staff for resolution. With that being said, is there anybody on my left side like to come before the board? Anybody on my left? Welcome. If you could please give your name and address for the record.
My name is Brandy Byer. My address is 135 Bethany Road. And I'm just here tonight to thank all of you for acknowledging the Juneteenth Day. It really means a lot to all of us, and I'm sure it's gonna reach a lot of our other citizens. That's gonna mean a lot more. To think just a couple of years ago, you had a Confederate Day or whatnot that was approved and then maybe rescinded or whatnot. But to be able to like move forward and progress from that, from where all the hate and hurt that this city was kind of built on from before, and to know that there's people here now that has maybe looked at forward of all the hurt and everything that everybody else has went through all of these years. That's what I'm like. That's what I want to thank you all so much for.
Thank you.
To recognize that, and I want to thank you, Shonda, for pushing everything in the inclusion chat or whatnot. But that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else on my left side like to come before the board? Is there anybody on my right side like to come before the board of commissioners? Okay. Moving into public hearings. Public hearings are conducted to allow public comments on specific advertised issues such as rezoning, ordinances, policy development, operating budgets, and other legislative actions to be considered by the city commission. Tonight, our item is to receive comments regarding the proposed budgets for fiscal year beginning July 1, 2021 and ending June 30th, 2022. City Manager Jessica O'Connor will address.
Mayor and Commissioners, this is our second and final public hearing before we ask for adoption of our 21-22 fiscal year budget, both operating and capital budgets. They were advertised, these public hearings, on Thursday, May 13th and Tuesday, June 1st, to be voted on and approved tonight. We have not received any comments via email or any persons in the city manager's office to review the book that has been printed, and that link has been live since Thursday, May 13th as well. So we don't have any comments to address at this time.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments from the Board of Commissioners? And this is a public hearing. Is there anybody who'd like to come before the board to address any concerns, questions in regards to the proposed budget for July 1, 2021 through June 30th, 2022? Moving on into consent agenda. We have items 6 through 8. Do we have a motion to take the consent agenda as one? Mrs. Murray with a motion. Second by Mr. Tinsley. All in favor of accepting the consent agenda, items 6 through 8, please raise your hand. 7-0. Moving into the regular scheduled meeting, consider resolution adopting the annual fiscal year 2021-2022 operating budget, appropriating expenditures and projected revenues for specific purposes, function, and activities by fund for the budget period in the capital improvements program.
Make a motion to approve.
Mrs. Murray with a motion.
Second.
Second by Mr. Brock. All in favor of budget, please raise your hand. 7-0. Item 10 is consider a memorandum of understanding between Georgia Department of Community Affairs and the City of Griffin for the accreditation of the city's Main Street program. Economic Development Director Patrick Kay is here to address. Any good with the memorandum? Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Have a motion by Mr. Tinsley, second by Mr. McCord. All in favor, signal by raising your hand. Thank you, Mr. Kay. 7-0. Item 11, consider renewal of the invoice cloud credit card payment processing agreement, lowering the cost to the customer.
Great.
Motion by Mr. Brock, second by Mrs. Murray.
Question.
Question by Mrs. Flowers.
Is the restructuring or the change in the fee structure a permanent, like henceforth, or is this something that we'll have to negotiate annually or something?
That is permanent.
Okay, that's all I need.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 7-0. Item 12 is consider installation of an S2 security system for doorway and access control in the amount of $29,415.64. Georgia State contract from Net Planner Systems, Inc. Consider installation of the Ethernet data cabling in the amount of $29,331.53. Georgia State contract from Net Planner Systems, Inc. Mrs. Murray with a motion. Second by Mrs. Ward. All in favor, please signal by raise your hand. 7-0. Item 13 is consider an addition to the SRO agreement between the City of Griffin and the Griffin Spalding County Board of Education for the purpose of providing a school resource officer from the city to the system during summer school session. Mrs. Ward with a motion. Second by Mr. Brock.
Question,
Question by Ms. Flowers.
is the person who works during these hours, who am I asking the question to?
I guess me.
Okay. I'm like, who? Okay, so is the person that will be fulfilling the role, is this someone that's like in their shift, or is this like an off-duty officer?
This is the current SRO officer. Normally he goes on to patrol when schools are closed, but they asked if he could stay for this.
Okay, so same person.
Yes,
We're just doing the summer school class. Okay, that's all.
Okay. We have a motion to second. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 7-0. Item 14, to consider an intergovernmental agreement with Spalding County and the cities of Sunnyside and Orchard Hill for the purpose of specifying the duration of the transportation sales and use tax within the special district of Spalding County, specifying the projects to be funded by such tax and providing for the allocation and distribution of proceeds of the tax among the participants. City Manager Jessica O'Connor and Drew Whalen will address.
And Mayor, we do have a change to Exhibit A. I think it's at your desk. The county made some changes yesterday after their meeting. As y'all know, this has been sort of a tight timeline for us, so we're sort of struggling at last minute to get these projects on Exhibit A. Really, the main change was a little bit more money for sidewalk and pedestrian connectivity and continuity that the county added. At one point, they just had the North Hill Street sidewalk, and I think they have since expanded that to sort of match our definition. We hadn't yet defined what sidewalks, we just know that we want to do sidewalks. So they took that language as well, and then even added some additional money for that in their Tier 2 projects. Ours have changed a little bit based on our conversations that we had with you all at our workshop. I'm actually going to ask if you will make a motion to approve with an amendment, Because in our tier 2 projects, it shows culverts, repairs and replacements at $3.5 million. That should say bridges and or culverts. We have the Meriwether Street and New Orleans Bridge that we're looking at right now. Mr. Walker has done some research recently and already met with an engineer about that project. We do believe that might be a higher priority than a culvert at this point, so we need to add that language about bridges as well, so we can determine once we have a better estimate from engineers as to what needs to be first.
I make a motion with that amendment.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. McCord, second by Mrs. Murray. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 7-0. Item 15 is consider cancellation of the City of Griffin Board of Commissioners July 13th and August 10th, 2021 regular meetings due to Commissioners' attendance at the 2021 MEAG Power Annual Meeting, July 11 through 14, 21, and GMA Annual Meeting, August 6 to 10, 21. Mrs. Murray with a motion. Second by Mr. Tinsley. All in favor of canceling the meetings, would you raise your hand?
No, I want to come.
7-0. Item 6, before we go into executive session, we're going to start to city manager and city attorney.
Again, just a thank you to all of you for your patience with me on my first budget this year, and a big thank you to all of the staff and especially you for Marcus for working with me to make that happen. That was a big undertaking this year, but I'm very pleased with how that turned out. I'm glad to see people here tonight. It's very nice to see some recognitions for people that we normally don't recognize, our solid waste workers in particular. I have gotten to work with them, as you all know, pretty closely the last few months, and they're one of the best groups we have, so I'm excited to see them recognized, as well as a new proclamation that I hope we'll see henceforward with our Juneteenth proclamations. I'm excited to have that on our agenda now as well. Just a quick update on our ARPA funding, our American Rescue Plan Act. I actually signed the terms and conditions today, so we should receive some more information from our portal any day now to figure out when we will receive those funds. Also, Susan, Ms. Flowers, and I worked on your GMA registrations this morning, although not everybody got first choice of everything. I think that most of you got first choice on what you needed, and then maybe second choices on hotels and some classes. So we'll get those packets to you soon. And then one last thing, I'd like to congratulate Patrick Kay. Last week, he took a test for the Georgia Downtown Development Professionals, and he is now one of 11 new professionals in the state of Georgia.
Mr. Whalen?
I have nothing to add, but I do want to say that Jessica has hit the ground running and running hard. She's kept me real busy these last 2 weeks.
You gotta earn your keep.
Got to.
Mr. McCord?
I think I said it all. Thank you.
Mrs. Murray?
Just concur, Jessica did a great job. So good to see a courtroom full of people. Congratulations, Mr. Todd, on the proclamation, and as well as the Juneteenth. And it's incredible to see all the changes going on in Griffin and businesses opening and people coming in and all the great work that you all are doing. And I'm just proud to be living in a unified city and such a united board up here. Just very proud of everyone. Thanks a lot.
Ms. Flowers?
2 things real quickly. Mrs. O'Connor, also known as acting police chief at the moment.
Yeah.
I would like to have a citizen complaint about, I don't know who, how, or when, but there are people riding in traffic on like quad vehicles and doing wheelies and various other tricks. And one of my constituents is an older gentleman who is sure that he will have a heart attack if he has to see one of them get hit by a vehicle. So I am just bringing the concern to you that you can pass along. I don't know if there's knowledge of it. I know last summer we had the guys that were on like dirt bikes. Have not seen them this summer, but there apparently is some other vehicles that are probably not intended for traffic. And there is some concern that they're also traveling like on 155 by UPS. So I think a valid concern. That's all about that. And then I just kind of want to echo what our citizens said today. And to the board specifically, I've said to you guys a lot of times that I am very grateful to be with a group of people who are willing to consider that there are alternative opinions. and that we're willing to not always think that what we know is best or right or the only way to do things. So I am proud to, sometimes y'all get on my nerves, I get on y'all's nerves. It's fair and it's to be expected when you have people who have their own belief systems and value systems. But I am appreciative to be with a group of people who at least entertains that there are realities outside of our own that exist. It could certainly be a lot worse, and I know that, again, we don't always agree about everything, but I think it sends a very powerful message to our community and our citizenry and even the communities around us for us to say, hey, we can come from different backgrounds, we can come from different walks of life, but we can acknowledge that this is important to our community and we'll be able to support it. So personally, although I said it to a lot of you guys privately in different conversations, I just want to go on the record and saying, like, I am very proud to be a part of a group where there is clear distinction sometimes that we can still say, hey, some things matter and we need to put those first. So that's all.
Thank you. Mrs. Ward?
No comment.
Nothing. Ms. O'Connor stole my thunder, Patrick. I actually asked him to stay here, but I just want to talk about Patrick's department and how hard they're working in terms of what they're doing in downtown and around the community. Is very impressive. A gentleman that moved out of Griffin many years ago had their daughter here in Griffin and was called to compliment what we've done with the downtown, with the streetscape, with the music playing, and how he just thought it was unbelievable, and it was just very impressive. A lot of the great things are happening. Summer concert series coming up this summer. It starts off with June's Jam this coming Saturday, but every night going through June 28th, there'll be a concert in the park that's free to the public, different genres of music. So look up on all that. We've also got all the great Second Saturday activities going on throughout the year. And the big party is June Jam. Kenny Smith and I started that in 2005, so we missed last year. Pray for no rain, but Chris and team are dropping 60 tons of sand Friday. We've got Goodwood, Two Horton out of Barnesville playing from 8 to 10:30. The steel drum band's coming in from Atlanta from 6 to 8. Bring tables, chairs. We've got food vendors, food trucks. It's going to be a lot of fun from 6 to 10:30. And then we've also got the Growers Market going on at the Historic City Hall all afternoon. So, and then their band's going to be playing. I think down at Sip and Shop, they've got a band playing in the afternoon, and then in front of Caldwell Cottage, she'll have a band playing in the afternoon. So a lot of great stuff is happening downtown Griffin. New businesses are opening up, so it's exciting. Just want to give a shout out to Patrick for his leadership and his hard work. Also, want to thank staff to bring a budget like we did this year with the new head coach and Marcus, and to all of y'all for what you put together. It's very impressive, and look forward for us moving forward with this budget this year. Hopefully next meeting we'll vote unanimously and move forward into the next fiscal year. With that being said, we have an executive session, so I need to consider executive session pursuant to OCGA Section 5014(3)(b)(1)(b) for the purpose of authorizing negotiations to purchase, dispose of, or lease property. Do we have a motion? A motion from Mr. Tinsley, second by Ms. Murray. All in favor, please join us in the next 2 to 3 minutes.
I want to get a picture. Let us stand in front of you. I understand. Yeah, I know.
Cute girl.
Thank you.
But you do good. All right. See you later.
I think there was.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh,
Yes, ma'am.
someone stole my pad.
Hey, Bill, I need that check.